How do you know if you're ready for a commitment? That's a very, very fucking good question. I have commitment issues. Not because I don't want to, not because, not because I love dating this girl, that girl, that girl. No. Like a lot of people, you start getting a lot of insecurities. You start getting a lot of trauma from past experiences, times that other people or other guys or girls have fucked you over. You start developing some type of stigma towards committing. I don't know if, and it's a very self-conscious thing too. Like it's also maybe an insecure thing too. But for me, like I've always had a problem committing because I've always distracted myself with work. For the longest time, I've always committed myself to work. And if I couldn't commit half as much as I did to work towards my other half, then I knew I couldn't commit. But the thing is, I feel like committing, you should only commit when you're at a headspace, when you're at a certain moment in your time, when you can turn all your, and I'm talking in terms of relationships, when you can turn all your attention and energy towards that person you love. That's the only time you should ever commit to somebody. If you're not going to do that, then, and you're thinking like, should I or shouldn't I? Then it should already be out of the question. Like if I'm sitting here and if I'm questioning of committing to somebody, that already says you're not going to commit. Like it already says you're not gonna, you know what I mean? And you're maybe talking yourself into doing it, but that's what you're doing. That's what you're gonna do. You're gonna talk yourself into it. And yes, distraction isn't the best. It is temporary, just like someone says. Thank you for pointing that out. It is a temporary thing. That's why if you're looking for a commitment, you should definitely be in a headspace where you're ready to turn all your attention and energy towards that he or she, because there should be nothing in the way of that. And I've always had work in the way of all my relationships. And I think obviously, I've made a lot of mistakes too, because, I still am pretty dumb, but I was at one point much more younger than I am. So I was young and dumb. I've made some silly mistakes. I fucked up here and there, I broke hearts. But just as much, my heart was broken in so many pieces, so many times. And the lights went off. But haven't we all, haven't we all? We live in a world where human-to-human relations, human-to-human, what do you call it? 뭐라고 해야 되냐? Human-to-human connection is a must. It's a necessity. Unless you live in the middle of the jungle somewhere far off by yourself. But, that's the thing. Like, we live in a world where we share our space with all these other different beings. And we're constantly on the search of either growth or connecting, Is it okay for you to date a non-Korean girl? Yeah, my first girlfriend, she was Caucasian, She was a white girl. That was my first ever girlfriend. No, I was in middle school, sorry. Yeah, I was in middle school. Yeah, I was in middle school. And so, I don't have a specific race that I'm trying to date, I don't care. Obviously I've dated I think a lot more Koreans because I was in Korea, that would probably only mean white. Maybe because I grew up in an all white neighborhood. I grew up in a completely white neighborhood, I grew up with a lot of crazy white boys, which explains probably a lot of my habits and everything. Which is why I probably love heavy metal and all that shit. Definitely not putting a stereotype on it. But I grew up in a town where, there was not, if any, Asians. Never. So I had no idea of, the Asian culture. I wasn't that much educated in that ideology of, I find some type of comfort in dating only Korean girls or whatnot, There was never such. But yeah, if I'm going off in a tangent, I usually do that. You see, I'm a triangle. I like to go off on that tangent, or that tangent. Who's my first love? If I said it, you guys have no idea anyway. I don't know. It's kind of scary these days how the internet works. Yeah.
That's when